It's almost impossible to describe how elevated and delicious this meal tastes with all of the flavors combined together. This tender and juicy salmon is baked infused with garlic, rosemary and thyme, lemon, and crushed red pepper, which doesn't make it hot but enhances the flavors like you can't even imagine. I'll be honest, I did not even like salmon before I made it this way. I'll show you the comparison of skin on versus skinless, parchment versus aluminum foil. But either way, there's virtually no cleanup. Preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. For each person, you'll want a 6-ounce salmon fillet, 1 inch thick, 1 clove of garlic minced, 3 small lemon wedges or 2 large, 1 sprig of rosemary, 3 sprigs of thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes, freshly ground salt and pepper, and olive oil. The white wine there is just for drinking, sorry. The complementing vegetables are 1 head of broccoli, 1 red bell pepper, and 1 zucchini for every 3 people. And you'll need aluminum foil. Okay, rinse each fillet low in the sink under a gentle stream of water so you don't splatter the bacteria, but you get the specks off. And pat dry with paper towels. Make sure to sanitize everything afterwards. When pan-searing or grilling salmon, you want to leave the skin on because of its protective barrier to the heat and it seals in the healthy fats. However, when poaching or when baking salmon sealed in aluminum foil in the oven, the skin doesn't crisp as it does with pan-searing, so you may prefer removing it before cooking. To skin a fillet, position it skin side down on a cutting board that can be sanitized. Peel a corner so that you can wiggle a chef's knife in against the skin. Then, holding the skin at the end, slide the knife through, keeping the blade down right against the skin. And the salmon fillet will be beautiful on either side. Since the vegetables need to bake longer than the salmon, let's get those in first. For every 3 people, you'll want a large head of broccoli. Break into large bite-sized florets and cut the larger ones in half. The cut ones flat side down actually bake the best. Brush a baking sheet covered with aluminum foil with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, then the florets, then another couple tablespoons of olive oil. And season with freshly ground salt and freshly ground pepper. And then a sprinkle of 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes. This and the crisping of the broccoli give it a whole different taste if you're tired of that typical broccoli flavor. Toss together to coat all of the parts of the broccoli very well and then arrange flat side down when possible. Wash the bell pepper and zucchini and dry firmly with paper towel to remove that dirty wax that they rub on them at the grocery store. Now cut the zucchini in 1/4 inch thin slices at a slight diagonal so that the skin holds the soft insides better. It also looks beautiful when plated. And Julienne the bell pepper. Come back and click on the upper right to see how to cut and julienne a bell pepper like a pro. Place the zucchini slices in a bowl with 1 tablespoon of olive oil and kosher salt or sea salt. Add freshly ground black pepper and toss to coat well. Place on a baking sheet, making sure that they aren't touching one another so that the skins don't become soggy. The skin will be super soft to eat but still hold that inner part. Then place the julienne bell pepper alongside as is, unseasoned. Bake both baking sheets of vegetables in the 425 degree preheated oven for approximately 20 minutes or until the broccoli is brown and crispy and the zucchini is tender and the bell pepper strips are al dente. The salmon will go in about 8 minutes later to cook for approximately 12 minutes, but both could be held for a few minutes. For the salmon fillets, cut 2 lemons into 9 slices with the ends remaining for squeezing the fresh lemon juice as well. Peel and mince 1 clove of garlic for each fillet. With all of these accoutrements, there is no way this is going to taste fishy. On a sheet of aluminum foil, I'm placing the skinless fillet first for option 1. Brush both sides with olive oil, season with freshly ground salt and pepper, and a pinch of red chili flakes. Top with 1 clove of minced garlic, 3 small lemon slices, a squeeze of lemon juice, 1 sprig of rosemary, and 3 sprigs of thyme. Then bring up the sides, fold under twice, and fold in the ends, sealing tightly. For option 2, I'll do skin on in parchment paper. It is more difficult to wrap and seal tightly, but it's non-stick, so you don't have to worry about pieces of aluminum foil sticking to the salmon when removed. For the third option, I'll leave the skin on and wrap in aluminum foil. This is the easiest option, and when I make it, the skin doesn't get mushy. This is the one that I'm plating, so I'll show you how the salmon still flakes off beautifully while eating. Bake for approximately 12 minutes until opaque and an internal temperature of 140 to 145 Fahrenheit in the center. At this time, my zucchini is almost tender, the broccoli is almost crisped, and the bell pepper is getting tender. Be careful when opening because of the steam, but I think foil is easier to unwrap without oven mitts. For option 1, I use a silicone spatula instead of a fish turner to remove it. Option 2 in parchment is juicy and removes perfectly. And option 3 removes easier than the first, but not as easily as option 2. This is option 3, baked with the skin on in aluminum foil. Now just look at how easily the juicy salmon flakes off of the skin. And the entire fillet is absolutely infused with the perfect balance of literally astonishing flavors. The zucchini is amazing and melts in your mouth, but is not mushy. The broccoli gives you a crispy texture that is fork tender, and yet the browning in the olive oil and seasoning just takes it to a new level. And then when you add the slight sweetness of this fork tender but firm bell pepper, all of the flavors just marry in your mouth, and you could not even imagine having this any differently. In fact, this is a meal that you, your family, or your guests will not forget.
And you gotta make this.
And to see all of my videos, don't forget to click subscribe.